Hey everyone, Eddie with DAC Moto. Today's video is about Tech Mondays. Mondays are going to be my Tech Mondays. I'll do sometimes ideas about repairs or maintenance or adjustments or installations of gear or items on your motorcycle. Today it's going to be about chain adjustment. And I just came back from the rally out in the Black Hills of South Dakota, the 2021 Adventure Fest rally, and I was talking to people out there about how they adjust their chain, and some of them, the way they do it isn't wrong, but it probably takes them a little bit longer. I'm going to show you a fast way to adjust your chain, and as you can see, it looks like I have quite a bit of slack in mine. And the reason you want to have some slack, I might have a little bit too much, might need to adjust mine up. Looks like I'm going to be running into rain, so this is going to be a demonstration. I'm not going to really go through the whole process of adjusting it. But the reason you want slack is because when you are on your bike and your gear's there, or you have a passenger, as you can see, the swing arm comes up and the chain will tighten up. So when you go to make the adjustment for your chain, I use a laser liner, and I put the laser liner here, and it runs a laser beam across the links here. And as long as that laser beam's touching the links, not going on the rollers or going off the links there, then I know my chain is centered perpendicular to the front wheel, or to the middle line of the motorcycle there. So of course, obviously, when you're going to go to adjust your chain, you're going to loosen your back axle jam nut. As you'll loosen that back here on my SV V-Strom here, my Suzuki V-Strom, not my SV, it's my V-Strom, I'm sorry. You have your adjustments on either end, one here, one there, to adjust the pitch into the forward and backwards and the pitch for it. But you can go by the markings, and all bikes that are chain driven have some little bit of markings right there to be able to give you an indication that, you know, it's close on each side, and the left side's close to the right side, and that is pretty much aligned. But like I always suggest, you can get a string and use a string or a laser liner, and they're not that expensive. Like I said, when I put the laser liner, I'll line it off the sprocket here, and I'll roll the wheel. I'll roll the wheel, and it'll show me that the laser is on every link. So anyways, and all real quick, this is what I use. I use this DuPont Teflon multi-use lubricant. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot, I believe. And instead of spending a lot of money for you know, the brand name chain lubes out there, this really works perfect. Stays on there, it doesn't fling off, it really doesn't cake up in your front cover up over here and create a havoc for you to make take it all off and clean it periodically because of the buildup. But it does real good. I've been using this probably 15 years. I used it when I raced, when I road raced back in the early 2000s. So it's good stuff. So this is the one thing you're gonna need, is just a screwdriver, a round shank screwdriver. This is the key to making sure that when you got everything set, everything's still loose, your jam nut's still loose, or just a little bit snug, just enough to where, you know, you can still move it. But once you got everything set, you make sure that the sprocket and the chain are lining up with the drive sprocket, so you don't have bad wear. You don't want that being like this and causing the chain to be rolling like this or rolling like that on the rear sprocket. It'll cause premature wear on your sprocket. It's harder on your drive. You're going to get not the performance out of the bike. You're going to get worse fuel mileage, and then also on your suspension. When your suspension compresses, it's going to be constantly pushing more against that sprocket there and riding on the edge of the sprocket. You want the rollers to be smooth on the teeth of the sprocket here, on the rear sprocket and the front sprocket. So you got your adjustment there. You got everything adjusted on the left side. You got everything adjusted on the right side. Your jam nut still went loose, but you go to tighten it, next thing you know, it's looser than where you set it. Here's the key. You take the screwdriver, right, and you take it and you put it right here. You lay it right in between the valley of the teeth, and the chain will roll up into it. And as it does that, you can see it tightens it up. It tightened my chain up. So then you'll tighten your jam nut. And after you tighten your jam nut, you'll roll this back out, pull this out, and your slack will be exactly where you want it. So your jam nut's still loose. We're gonna go back, start over. Your jam nut's still loose. You got it pretty much lined up where you want it. You take your screwdriver, round shank screwdriver, put it in between a couple of the teeth. You roll it till the chain tightens up like it is. It's taut, no slack in it. You then tighten down your jam nut. If you're done with that, you torque it to the spec, to whatever the spec is for the manufacturer of your bike. You got it torqued. Roll this back out, and you'll have the exact amount of slack that you wanted. Because what happens is, if you don't do that and you go to tighten it up, a lot of times it'll tighten the chain back up, because you'll and it'll throw your chain pitch off too and won't be in line. So that's the key there. A lot of road racers use that trick, but that's the key to making sure that your chain is set to the amount of slack you want to have. And I have a little bit too much. I probably need to set it a little bit less, but that's because I was riding with gear, and better to have it a little bit loose than too tight. Too tight wears on the transmission, it wears on the chain, the sprockets. It makes it harder for your suspension to work right. But I don't want to say the looser, but when your chain is loose, your suspension will do exactly what it wants to do. On the other side of my skid plate, before I change tires, you can see it's on the other side. I scraped it a lot of times because the suspension was bottoming out because the chain wasn't letting it do its full potential. But after I changed tires and I set the chain to where I normally like to have it set, I haven't scraped the bottom of the skid plate going through corners on the asphalt, not the dirt. But anyways, that's today's tech tip there for Tech Mondays. I hope you all like that. It gives you an idea how to adjust your chain. If you have any questions, just put it in the comments and I'll do my best to answer it. If you would also subscribe and give me a thumbs up and hit that bell notification. This is Eddie with DAC Moto, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.